Not yet, Jonathan.
And this and nice.
You are live.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to a February town hall for the Victor Central School District. My name is Tim Terranova, and I am the proud superintendent of the Victor Central School District. And I have some very special guests here tonight. Wanted to bring on some of our superstars from the younger ages of our district. You'll notice that in this group of young people, we do not have any of our fantastic high school students on at this moment. We have had a variety of high school kids on before on the town hall, and we're certainly going to celebrate our seniors and other high school students later in the spring. But we thought it'd be a good time to really celebrate some of our other students. In this case, these are youngsters from the primary building, the intermediate building, and the junior high school. And what happened was I basically sent a request out to the principals and some of the teachers from each of those buildings and asked what kind of kids have stepped up this year as either being incredibly kind and compassionate, or being real student leaders in general, or even overcoming some obstacles and being really resilient and persistent. And these individuals, these fantastic people in front of you, are the ones who have been nominated for this time. And we have many, many more students who fit those criteria, but we're glad to have this group here. So I'm just going to go through the list real quick, and then I'm going to go back and ask each of them some questions. We have Sophia, we have Grace, we have Cody, we have Isabel, we have Jonathan, we have Kevin, we have Almina, and Liam here with us tonight. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. I'm actually going to start here with my good friend from third grade, I believe, from the primary school, Jonathan. Jonathan, why do you think the primary school selected you to come on the town hall tonight?
I think like to get me hard working.
Yep, they said that you're definitely a hard worker. What else are you, though?
Kind.
Yes. In fact, here's what they told me. You have an incredible attitude. You brighten every room that you enter, and you're kind and you're compassionate. And so we wanted to honor you tonight, Jonathan. Jonathan, what do you like the most about school?
PE.
Physical education?
Yep.
You got some great teachers there at the primary school, don't you?
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier when we talked about something called, what was it called? Four score or four corners? You remember that?
Yeah.
What is that, a game?
Yep, that is a game.
Now, do you play that in PE or play it in the class?
I play it in the class after lunch.
Awesome. All right, so you love PE, you love, what is it again, four corners? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
All right, anything what's difficult about school? What's hard about school right now?
Math.
Math. Yeah, math can be tough, right, Jonathan?
Yep, the math thing.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, math, you're going to keep getting better at math. And once you get better at math, you can do anything. So keep up the good work, okay, my friend?
Yep.
All right, thanks for being on tonight. I want to shift over to another friend of mine from the primary school. Her name is Isabel. Hi, Isabel.
Hi.
Now, Isabel, why do you think you were chosen to be on the town hall?
I don't remember.
You what?
I don't remember.
Why were you chosen to be on the town hall? Tell them why you're chosen to be on the town. Why do you think you were chosen to be on the town hall?
That's always.
Hey, Isabel, you want me to remind you?
Yeah.
All right, here's some words that they described about you. You ready?
Yeah.
Great attitude.
Yeah.
Encouraging towards others. And this is a long one. incredible perseverance. In other words, you never, ever give up. You keep working hard.
No.
That is why you're on the town hall tonight, my friend.
Yeah.
Now, can you tell us what you like about school?
PE.
What, you're another PE fan?
Yeah.
Wow, I got to meet these phys ed teachers at the primary school. They must be doing a great job.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's hard about school that you don't like, Isabel?
Writing.
Writing?
And math. And English.
Writing?
No.
You said
No, you like,
reading, math, and English. Sounds like
those
all
are tough.
difficult.
Yeah.
Those are tough, aren't they? Your mom is explaining to me that all four can be pretty difficult. That's challenging for all of us,
Yeah.
you know? Now, because you're on TV tonight, do you think you might be a movie star in the future?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that in your future, my friend. So thank you for being on tonight, okay? Because you really deserve it, and you are definitely a role model for everybody in the VPS, okay? Now we have Sophia. I'm going to turn it over to Sophia. Sophia, are you in 6th grade?
Yes.
So Sophia, you're unique in this group because you are one of our outstanding 100% online learners, correct?
Yeah.
So you just tell me why do you think you got selected and how are things going being 100% online?
How things are going, they're pretty good because I get to spend a lot more time with my family and I get to see them more than I did when I had to go to school almost every weekday. I also think that work is going well because as far as I know, I get it all turned in by the deadline. And I think that I got chosen to be on here because my parents and my teachers always taught me to be respectful and kind, and I really try to do that every day.
Yes, that is one of the reasons why. Do you know why else you were chosen? I'll tell you why. Because you have an incredible attitude. That's what they said. Also, you are, for being 100% online and not actually being physically in the building, you are incredibly active and contribute constantly to classes. So you're really making the most of your opportunities. And like you said at the beginning, you're kind and compassionate to people, a real leader. So congratulations and thanks for being on and thanks for being such a great student.
Thank you.
Now, when we come back full time, I hope you're coming back, okay?
Yeah.
And everybody comes back, okay? Because we need you. Wait, did you say you were in 6th grade?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they need you. We'll need you at the junior high next year, definitely. Grace, where are you? Another 6th grader, right?
Yes.
Hi, Grace. You're in the intermediate school. Grace, why do you think you were chosen for this town hall tonight?
Well, I think I'm just always trying to do my best in school, and I always try to be a good person and kind towards others.
Yeah, the 3 words that were shared with me about you from people in the intermediate building were kind, supportive, and empathetic. Let me tell you, if you can be kind, supportive, and empathetic for the rest of your life, you're going to go places.
Thank you.
That's awesome. What do you like about school, Grace?
I really like my teacher, Miss Goodbrillet. She's really amazing. She's super nice and whenever sometimes people will forget articles or things at home after we come back from doing our virtual sets, and she's just really amazing about it, and I really love her.
That's your teacher. Did you say to your teacher, Miss Goodberlay?
Yes.
And what's the hardest thing about school right now?
Probably like going back and forth from the virtual sets in school, because sometimes like you get like your mindset of like being at home and getting all your work done like on your own schedule, and then when you go back to school you like have to like wake up earlier, and like you can't really like be as flexible with your work.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely challenging. Well, thanks for being on tonight, Grace, and keep up the fantastic work at the intermediate building, okay? And now I'm turning it over to my friend Cody. Cody, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
Awesome. Now, you were specifically chosen for a couple things. Do you know what those reasons were?
No, not really.
Can you guess?
I don't have anything in my head.
Well, what about, let me ask you this. How much progress have you, you're a sixth grader, correct?
Yeah.
How much progress have you made in school since fourth grade?
A ton.
A ton, yes, I would say. My understanding here is that you've had incredible growth since fourth grade, very positive, enjoys school, and is making a big difference at the intermediate school. And then another, that long word, really strong perseverance. So what do you think has been the reason that you've been so successful, Cody?
Probably because I just improved in school, because my behavior just, switched from actually like listening, to actually when I was in fourth grade, I really did not like to listen in school, and now in sixth grade, I'm a really good listener, and I just get my work done.
That's great. That's called becoming really mature. What do you like the most about school, Cody?
I would say math. I like math a lot at school.
Mathematics?
Yeah.
And then what's the toughest part of school?
I'd probably say, I don't really know.
How are you liking the going to school a few days a week and not every day?
It's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to try to get you back full time soon.
Okay.
Okay. Great job, Cody. Thanks for being here.
Mhm.
Almina,
Thank you.
Hey,
how you doing, my friend?
good. How are you?
I'm great. Tell me why you think you've been selected. Now, Almina, we have the 3 junior high students. These are our oldest students on the program tonight. I believe they're all 8th graders. I could be wrong. So, Almina, why do you think you were chosen by the junior high?
I'm actually not that sure, but I think maybe one of the reasons were because I get my work done, and then I think I'm respectful. I think those 2 are the reasons why.
Yeah, you know what I heard? Here, this is an exact phrase, one of the best around. Enthusiastic, caring, and not good work ethic, but great work ethic.
Thank you.
So you are really setting the tone over there in the junior high school. What do you like what's one or two things you really enjoy about school?
One or two things I really like about the school is the teachers. They even in this pandemic, because I'm a student who asks lots of questions, they are always there to answer my questions, and they are one of my favorite things in school.
That's awesome. What's the biggest challenge right now?
I think the biggest challenge right now is actually when you have questions or something, when you are doing your online work. Um, it's kind of like hard to do like the work sometimes when you're confused on like a subject or anything. And then another thing that's kind of difficult is like the Zoom meetings, because sometimes there's problems with like internet problems, or kind of like I can't hear them or they can't hear me.
Yeah, so one of the challenges and unique things going on with our junior high kids on this program is you just started, I believe, Zooming on days that you're not in person, correct, Elmina?
Yep.
Yep. And so that can be challenging if the Zoom or the sound isn't working, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Has any positives from the Zoom happening?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh.
Our teachers puts us in breakout rooms to talk to our peers and all, to do our assignments or like classwork with them, which is one of the things that I really like about it.
That's
And then and then if any student, not only me, has questions, it's easy to kind of like talk with them in the chat or by voice to voice.
wow. That's a great answer. That's why, again, I'm so thrilled that you were selected for this show, because you definitely are a leader among our students. Great job.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin, you've been sitting here patiently next to that beautiful painting in your house. You know what that painting is, by the way?
No, I do not know at all now.
Do you ever just sit there and look at it?
No, not really.
No? Okay, just check it. So Kevin, 8th grader, why do you think you were picked for this program?
I think I was picked because I come into class with a smile on my face and I'm very optimistic.
Yeah, optimism is your kind of middle name there, buddy. Your name has been mentioned frequently, just being a real leader, kind, resilient, compassionate, positive. How'd you end up with such a great, these great qualities? How'd you end up that way?
I really don't know. I think I've definitely seen it from my parents, and I've seen it from a lot of my peers and teachers in the school.
Yeah. What's your a few of your favorite things in the junior high?
I enjoy getting to zoom in on the days I'm not there. It's a lot easier to ask a question than having to have an email and they have another class there the other day, so it used to be a lot longer to get an email. So I enjoy being face to face and one-on-one with teachers.
That's great. What's the toughest part about it right now?
Probably just the fact that specifically you got 2 classes, so just questions don't always get answered as often, and just a lot of the times there's a lot of internet cutouts and stuff at home and stuff, so it makes it a lot harder to be able to listen and pay attention sometimes.
Yeah, that's definitely occurring across the district and other districts as well. Kevin, appreciate the comments and appreciate your leadership, buddy. Great job.
Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, my friend Liam, who just got done with basketball practice about an hour ago, correct?
Yes.
Now, Liam, why do you dress better than me?
Don't know.
It's okay, buddy. You look great. How's 8th grade going for you?
Good.
Yeah. Why do you think you were selected for this as one of the 3 junior high students that were selected?
I think I always try my best and I try to be the best person I can.
Yeah, I also heard very organized, great work ethic, and they used a word called adaptable. You know what that means?
Yes.
What's it mean?
Open to change.
Yes, you are very open to change, which is going to serve you very well when you go through the high school and get older. So tell me some things about the junior high you really like.
I like the teachers and my students and how it's very like organized, like day by day.
And And what about the toughest things going on right now in this hybrid model for you at the junior high?
Probably the social aspect, because it's very hard to socialize with like my friends and peers in class. Like half the alphabet, half of like the other side of the alphabet, we don't even see in person any of the days, and that's kind of how.
And then you told me earlier, like the Zooming on the days you're not in person at the junior high, that can be tough sometimes, but it can also have its positives, correct? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the Zoom meetings when half the class is in class, the other half is out, there's a lot of pros and cons. I feel like I stay more focused during that time, but it's hard to like ask questions or like input on class discussion. But I still feel like I'm getting my work done and I know what's going on.
That's awesome. All right, most important question. Did you tie that tie yourself?
Yes.
Wow. So did you use a Windsor knot?
Half Windsor.
Okay. Nice job, man. That's better than me. All right, so this is I don't know if the audience understands how incredible this group of young leaders are in front of us right now, but does anybody want to give a shout out to somebody at your school that's made a really big difference for you? Just somebody you really love and just has made a great impact on you. Does anybody want to go first on that one? All right, well, I will tell you what, we're going to go Isabel first and then Kevin, okay? Isabel.
Nikki, like here, the pizza, unpack all.
All right, so is your mom there?
Mrs. Whitehair has been so incredible, she said.
Wow, that is so cool. Is that now you spend a lot of the day with your teacher, correct, Isabel?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's fantastic, isn't she?
Yeah.
Awesome. Wait a minute. Now, Kevin, were you next? Who do you want to give a shout out to?
Mr. Thering, he's really encouraged me to be optimistic every morning, even showing up to school at 7:30. He's always up and ready to teach and puts a smile on my face every morning and afternoon.
That's awesome. He's got a pretty cool beard too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Anybody else want to give a shout out? Okay, y'all do. So let's just go around. Well, Elmina.
Okay, so I just couldn't choose one. So I just wanted to say thank you to all my teachers because I'm new to the school district this year, and then all of them have been helping me settle in, and then
You're doing great.
all of them helped, and then all of them helps me give a big smile on my face, like Mr. Taylor and Mrs. Gillette.
Awesome.
I also wanted to say thank you to one of my counselors, Mrs. Tubbs. She has been helping me a lot too this year, a lot.
That's fantastic, Almina. I'm sure they appreciate it very much. Who wants to go next? Where are we going here? Sophia, and then we'll go Grace.
I actually have a handful of people. Is that okay?
Yes, for you, Sophia, you can do whatever you want.
I'd like to say thank you to my teachers, Miss Goodberlet and Miss Volkma. They've been like really great in this time, and especially since I've been home the whole time, they've been great communicators and teachers. Also, my parents and my friends, they have been great. Some specific friends that I wanted to say are my friend Kendra Lord, Bella Reed, and actually Grace Ritchie, who's here. And my parents, they've all been really great. They've stayed right by my side and really helped me. And
Awesome.
also my saxophone teacher, Mr. Pelton. He's been really fun.
You play the sax, huh? It's pretty cool. Can't wait to hear you play. Grace, how about you? You probably have to thank Sophia now since she thanked you, right?
Yes, actually, she was on my list. So I just wanted to say thank you to like all of our teachers, like everyone that's a teacher, because they've just gone above and beyond this year to like help all the kids with what they need online and at school, because it's a weird year and a lot of kids just need some extra like help, and I'm so thankful for them. And
Great.
of course, Sophia, for helping me not go insane when we're trying to stay kind of isolated, because she's always open to like hang out with me
That's
and like
great.
Zoom and go to places with me, and it's really fun. So thank you, Sophia.
Thanks, Grace. Appreciate it. Anybody else? You got Cody, Jonathan, or Liam? Anybody want to do a shout out? Liam. Then I'm going to go Jonathan. I'll go to you next. Okay, Jonathan? We'll go Liam first.
Mr. Zakoto has been a great teacher to me this year, along with Mr. Swain and Mr. Taylor and Miss Gillette. And those many other teachers that's been helping me a lot, but they're really being great teachers and great. They care about me as a student and a person as well.
That's awesome, Liam. Great shout out, buddy. Jonathan, do you want to thank anybody or say anybody who you're really proud of and happy to work with?
Mrs. Remillard.
Mrs. Remillard? You must really like Mrs. Remillard, huh, Jonathan? That is fantastic. I know she's excited too. Great job, Jonathan. And then who we got? Cody, you got anybody? You got a lot of people, but
Okay, I have a lot. Okay, I just want to say thank you to Mrs. Cole, Mrs. Carosi, Mrs. Thayer, Miss Maloney, Mr. Ryan, Miss Goodbrillet, and Miss Geitler.
it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah? What?
Yeah.
You named a lot of people, Cody. What is the one thing about all of those people that you admire the most?
Well, they all helped me when I was falling apart on my work. And like if I didn't know how to do something, I would just ask them. Or if like I just need to take a break, I can just go to Ms. Carosi's office and like just relax there until I'm just all settled. And
Great.
then
Awesome. Well, listen, I just want to thank all of you, Liam, Sophia, Grace, Jonathan, Elmina, Kevin, Isabel, and Cody. You have been fantastic. You were chosen. And like we said, there's a lot of kids that could have been chosen tonight. And I asked a simple question: who are the leaders out there? Who are some kids who are doing great things and persevering through some tough times? And your names were mentioned. There's a lot of kids that could have been mentioned too, which is great. But I'm so glad that you came on with me at the town hall, and you are what it's all about at Victor Central School District. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep your head up, and not every day is going to be perfect. You know that, right? So you just got to keep your head up and keep plugging and keep in touch with the people that care about you, and make sure you stay connected. Okay. And then we're going to get back to school as soon as we can, 5 days when it's safe. All right. So I'm going to stick around. I know Mr. Isaacs, if you want to take off, you guys, you can do that, or Mr. Isaac can dismiss you. I'm going to stick around for a little while and just give the community some updates. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night. Okay.
You too.
See you later.
you too.
See you later. Thank you. What a fantastic group of kids. Very impressive. Wanted to have some of the younger students on with me tonight, just because we do a lot of the work with the older kids and bring them on, and they're certainly going to be a big part of it in the spring. But these are the kids that are really make Victor unique and a great place. And I think they need to be recognized. And like I said, there's so many more kids that we could have on and we will have on, but I hope you enjoyed that. And to their families, thank you so much for raising great kids and keep up the fantastic work. And certainly the staff and the teachers who have done such great work with those youngsters, as well as many, many, many others. So I think I have 3 updates tonight, 3 to 4 updates real quick. So I hope you stick around. You can also ask questions in the Facebook Live chat part of it. Again, as we always do, if I don't get to the answers tonight, we'll get to them in the next couple days, those that we can answer. I want to talk about the malware update. I want to talk about reopening school. I also want to talk a little bit about the budget coming up. And then just a quick ending around two great people who are no longer with us in the district. I want to mention those individuals. So let's start with a malware update. You probably obviously heard about all this. I don't think we've talked since then. This happened, I believe it was the weekend before the Super Bowl. Just a quick recap: on Friday, January 29th, in the early morning on Saturday, the 30th, the district was hit by what's called an RYUK ransomware attack. That was pretty severe, as you know by now. Files were found to be encrypted. Now, the great news was the protection that we had in our system allowed us not to have any personal data compromised. Grades were not compromised. Data was not compromised. Staff data was not compromised. But many of the infrastructure parts of the server were encrypted. And it's ransomware for a reason. They actually asked us for a ransom and to spend money to get them to get rid of the encryption, which we did not do based upon advice from the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security. So immediately our tech staff, under the direction of Angela Affronti, who ironically was on this program in January, talking about technology, they did a fantastic job really working with, again, outside agencies to control the problem. Ransomware is a type of malware that encrypts your files and holds them hostage. Usually what happens is somebody accidentally has the RYUK ransomware enter by clicking on a phishing email or visiting a website. And again, like I said earlier, the goal of the people who do this, and this one actually came, we believe, from Russia, is to get money off of people. That's how they survive, and that's how they do business. So we did not give them any of the money. We basically cleaned out all our servers and then rebuilt them through imaging and other data and backup data. That took a few days, which is why we were offline for a few days. The FBI and the Department of Homeland Security are continuing to investigate the situation. We're getting updates hopefully this week. I don't know how that investigation is going. Like I said, the IP addresses were from Russia, and this is not uncommon ransomware attacks. What was excellent was the fact that we were able to get us back up in about a week. Many places it takes 2 to 3 to 4 weeks to do so. So I'm really proud and happy that our tech group, along with the EduTech group from BOCES, was able to get us up and running. We reset all our passwords, reviewed service and user account permissions, reviewed and disconnected the VPN access for vendors and staff members. We've adjusted our firewall settings and made filter adjustments as well, blocked well-known countries that are sources of ransomware, and also purchased advanced antivirus software that is cloud-based. And two other areas that we're working on and doing right now, which is we are purchasing products that will send fake phishing emails to staff to test them, basically. And hopefully people don't click those on, but if they do, then we can offer more training for those individuals around how to recognize this type of phishing email and not to click it on. We are also strengthening our backup system and making sure it's efficient and that we can get to it much quicker than we were able to this time. So, really what I've told people is, in order to strengthen our infrastructure and to protect us even further from these types of attacks, This is something we're going to have to spend some money on, and it could be somewhere between $200,000 and $250,000 to do the things that I just mentioned, as well as upgrade our network support through BOCES next year. So that's going to be a cost, but it's a cost that we have to make. Again, around $200,000 to $250,000 to really strengthen the infrastructure around us, strengthen the backup system, make sure that we're as well protected as possible so that this never happens again. Ransomware attacks, unfortunately, are common, but hopefully as we institute these types of protections and training with our staff, it'll greatly minimize this ever occurring. So just wanted to give you an update on that. Let's talk about, we've been talking about reopening school for a while. So let me just remind everybody what our district focus is. We sent, our Board of Education and myself sent an advocacy letter to government officials. What we're advocating for is criteria from the state health department that will give us a matrix to decrease the social distancing requirement from 6 feet to 3 feet. And let me be clear about this because it's very important. We're not advocating to decrease the social distancing from 6 feet to 3 feet. We're advocating criteria so we know what's safe so that we can safely decrease the social distancing requirement. And we believe, as many districts in our area do, that we are meeting those criteria right now. We believe we have an incredibly low infection rate in the Victor Central School District and in the surrounding area. We believe that we are not transmitting the virus through contact in school or school-related activities. But we would like guidance from the state health department to tell us exactly what they need to show that, so that if we meet those guidelines, we could decrease the social distancing requirement. I know there's some questions out there on who has the right to open school full time. Is it the superintendent? Is it the local health department? Is it the state health department? When I talked to Ms. Beer, the director of health in Ontario County, her comments are, at this time, there are no proposed guidance revisions to modify the minimum social distance requirements from 6 to 3 feet. And that's according to the New York State interim guidance for in-person instruction at pre-K to grade 12 schools during a public health emergency. That was originally published on August 26, 2020. Social distancing is defined as 6 feet of space in all directions between individuals or use of appropriate physical barriers between individuals that don't adversely affect them. So right now, the state is saying we have to have social distancing. And that is also according to our county health department. According to the New York State Commissioner of Education, this actually came out today. The New York State Commissioner of Education, who is the head of the New York State Education Department, has requested the governor clarify the 6 foot versus 3 foot rule. If the governor does not provide such clarification, the commissioner will do so, but do so aligned to the Department of Health current guidance. The commissioner feels districts need this clarification from the governor to ensure that they can continue their work and not deal with current politics. We should expect a letter either from the governor or the commissioner within a week clarifying the 6 feet versus 3 foot rule in New York State. So that's an important development today. Again, what is the rule? And I would say if it is still 6 feet, we need to really advocate for criteria on how to minimize it down to 3 feet in a safe manner. Two things that are going on that are really important in our district, and I know that are going on in other districts as well. One is our staff is being able to be vaccinated over the next, I'd say, 4 to 6 weeks. We believe that every staff member who is wants to be vaccinated and chooses to be vaccinated will have both vaccines and have the 2-week window after the second vaccine to be protected from the virus by the beginning of April. That's our goal. The County Health Department, Ontario County Health, has done a great job providing the vaccines to our district, and our HR department has done a wonderful job distributing the vaccines. And I know many of our staff has actually gone outside our district to be vaccinated. So that's occurring rapidly, which is a great thing. And like I said, we believe that our entire staff who is interested in doing so can be fully vaccinated by early April. The other thing we're monitoring closely is those high-risk sports that started February 1st, and monitoring the students and staff who work in coach those sports to see if they are picking up the virus or we're maintaining those low virus rates. That would be a huge sign of over the next 3 to 5 weeks, both these sports and then what they call high-risk fall 2 sports, which are starting the beginning of March, would be a huge sign if there's no transmission of the virus during those high-risk sports. Because we've maintained if you can wrestle, play hockey, play basketball, play football, volleyball, and cheerlead, which I agree, and I've been biased around this, believe should be happening, then we could come back to school and sit 3 feet apart. However, as I said at the beginning of this conversation around the advocacy piece, we're just looking for criteria to decrease 6 feet to 3 feet while sitting in school. That's what we need. We encourage you to send a letter to Governor Cuomo and your state representatives. That letter is on our website as well as on our Facebook page. You can also see a copy of the letter signed by Miss Elliott, our board president, and myself, advocating for a similar stance around criteria to be open. There's some questions that are coming up real quick. I'll just try to answer them. Governor Cuomo said it's up to local governments if school can open. What does he mean by local governments? That's a great question. So yeah, the governor did say, he said not only it's up to local governments, but he is advocating that schools reopen more fully. The challenge is with what he said is his state health department is what's saying that there should be 6 feet social distancing. And nobody wants to go against, I shouldn't say nobody, but most people do not want to go against the state health department's guidelines for social distancing because the state health department is basing that on medical science. So for him to say that it's up to local governments, I'm not sure if that's actually true because our local health departments, as I just said, are following the state guidance, which is why the Commissioner of Education is pushing the governor to clarify what he means by that. And hopefully either our commissioner or the governor will clarify that in the next week. Another question, would decreasing the social distancing requirement allow for all students to return full time? Yes. It wouldn't be immediately. We would need time, potentially 2 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, to really get all our infrastructure in place to bring everybody back, to change some schedules around, to be honest with you, especially in the junior high and the high school because of the shifts that needed to be made to keep some classes at 14 or less. But yes, if they decrease the social distancing down to 3 feet, and we're able to do that safely, then we will be able to go back to school full time. What criteria did they use to approve high-risk sports is a question. Just curious how that can happen, but new guidelines don't fit for kids' education. I don't know the answer to that. I know that the State Athletic Association, as well as the sections in the state, presented very specific processes and safety procedures to use, advocated for it strongly, and towards the end of January, the state shifted from no high-risk sports to having high-risk sports. So there wasn't any criteria that I know of that was published around that. It was a decision made by the governor through the state health department. And again, I look at that as optimistically as an opportunity to show people that we can be safe doing these experiences, which would then give more evidence to support kids going back to school 3 days a week. I'm sorry, 3 feet apart, 5 days a week. Are there any spaces that could be used for class space that isn't usually used that would allow more kids in? We actually looked at that question in July and August. And I've said this numerous times, but Victor has been growing. It's actually been flat the last few years, but over 15 years, Victor has grown tremendously, as you know. That growth has impacted space. So even if for example, even if the primary school tried to use every large space in the primary building, the gymnasium, the auditorium, or whatever, the cafeteria and other large spaces, there still be a large percentage of kids that wouldn't fit. The same can be held true with the intermediate school. We might be able to space it out in the ECS, but the problem is it's risky because it's not quite big enough to put everybody in the ECS spread out, and then we have large overlap of students from the primary and in the intermediate building who wouldn't have room. So we're not able to spread kids out like Palmac and Penn Yan and some of the other districts that you hear about, so that we could have the 6 feet social distancing and all the kids in place. We don't have the staff, but most importantly, we don't have the space, and that's certainly true at the junior high and the high school. And then that's just one of the challenges of being a big district, which is why the 3-foot rule is so important. So that's just I'll try to answer more questions as they come up. That's just a general overview around reopening. If it was up, well, let me say it this way. The perfect plan, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, is that we go through the next few weeks. And when I say few weeks, 3 to 5 weeks, and we check our positivity rate. And hopefully that stays flat. We're right now, I think, at 3 active cases in the district. We've been fluttering around 1 to 3 to 5 over the last 2 weeks, which is good. So we need to see over the next 3 to 5 weeks if we stay at that level, as high-risk sports and February break has already occurred. So we see any impact of February break. Also, that gives our staff enough time to be vaccinated if they choose to do so. And then hopefully the state will give us the criteria that we hopefully will meet to lower the social distancing from 6 feet to 3 feet. And maybe, if they could do that in the next 4 to 6 weeks, we could at least get 6 to 8 weeks back in school 5 days a week with all our kids, either mid-April or May 1st. Again, that's not written in stone. There's nothing that says that that's going to happen. That would be my opinion on a process that they could use, as long as we continue to make significant progress with the vaccine and the positivity rates with COVID-19. So we'll continue to update you on that as we move forward. And again, I always appreciate your questions, but certainly your patience and your unbelievable resilience as families trying to deal with kids being in school partially or 100% online. So that's reopening. I want to give a quick budget update. Just in summary, so when we did the budget rollover, when we took our existing staff and programs and expenses and rolled them over for next year, and then what has happened since then, we took expected revenue from the state and state aid and expected revenue through taxes through next year's tax cap, or this year's tax cap for the 21-22 school year. Basically, we're at about a $1.4 million gap between expenses and revenue, which is a lot of money, but nothing compared to a year ago when we had to deal with that incredible financial crisis. So our next move is to look at efficiencies with our staffing and our programs. And I say this, looking at ways that we can either redistribute some money and staff from well-staffed, I'll say, areas to understaffed areas, or save money by being as efficient as possible, but doing so without cutting essential programming. This is not the same as last spring when we said, if we don't exceed the cap, we're going to have to cut $3 million or more, and that will impact programming. That was last year. This year, because we were able to pass the budget, we're in a situation where we're looking for efficiencies, because this district hasn't really gone through a deep look at their staffing and efficiencies based upon enrollment, at least in many years that I know of, where we could potentially save money and save enough money so that we could fill the rest of the gap with reserves that have started to become more replenished. And then, most importantly, be able to fill those reserves back up with any surplus. So it's a net of zero, or actually we're able to add some money into our reserves. And that is the key right now, having enough surplus each year so that if we have to use reserves to fill a gap in the budget, we can replenish those reserves at the end of the year, maybe even add some more to them, which puts us in an even more stable situation financially. So the thinking right now is if we can make those efficiencies, and again, do so without cutting essential programming, then we will be able to split that difference and make up the gap and not in any way have to break the tax cap for next year, which would be incredibly challenging. So tomorrow night is a budget workshop, starts at 6 p.m. It'll be on YouTube via Zoom, so you'll be able to watch it. Two main areas of focus tomorrow night will be looking at our tax cap and making sure the board understands what the tax cap is and potentially how it could even be reduced slightly if we use what's called debt service reserve money to pay for some of the debt, but there are some consequences to trying to reduce and lower the tax cap around revenue over the next few years. So that'll be a conversation tomorrow night. That's very important. We're also going to talk about the propositions on the table for next year budget, beyond the budget and the Board of Education vote, which could include reauthorization of the capital reserve, a creation of an equipment reserve, a bus purchase reserve, as well as a technology reserve. So we'll talk a little bit about the strategy of creating these reserves, where we can put some money in them at different times through our surplus each year, and then be able to pay for large ticket items, certainly a capital project. But in this case, the new strategy would be to be able to purchase buses and large equipment and major technology purchases for technology use through those reserves, which would take it away from the general fund, which would save over time money for our taxpayers. So that's going to be the really main points of the conversation tomorrow night, the propositions we might have that the board might decide to have on the table for May, and then the tax cap. And then in March, we're going to go deep. We have two meetings in March. I believe it's the 10th and the 25th. We're going to go deep into the staffing, personnel, and the efficiencies that we're looking at, so that by the end of March, everyone has a clear idea of what our budget will look like, how close we are to being stable with our budget, so that the board can then make an incredibly informed decision April 15th when they decide to adopt the budget. So that's our budget planning process. And the efficiency piece and the staffing piece, I know I'm getting some questions around that. That's going to be articulated in March, because we're still doing significant work on what that might look at like. Again, the goal of that is not to cut program, however. You keep using essential programming. We're going to try to do our mantra, which is to balance that high-performing, comprehensive school district, which is Victor Central School District, with the needs of the taxpayer. So there are some efficiencies we can make, but that's going to be detailed much more specifically in March. Other questions I could try to get to real quick. Seating on the bus was a question. Is it still 1 to a seat now? Yes. That's going to be another issue, right? Because with 6 feet seating, we can't even maintain consistent 6 feet distancing on a bus, but we're doing the best we can and under the legal aspects of what the state allows us to do. So right now we're sitting one student at a bus. If they decrease social distancing, that would allow us to have more kids on a bus, and that would be supportive of bringing all our kids back to school. Before we go, I do want to talk about two really beloved staff members in the district, which we lost this week, who passed away. Carolyn Strauss, our primary school secretary, passed away unexpectedly this weekend, as well as Barry Johnson, a beloved bus driver through our district for years and years, died also. And they were two really horrific blows to us, as Carolyn and Barry were the epitome of employees who went above and beyond, cared about kids, had great relationships with their colleagues, and just were incredible people. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Barry and Carolyn's family and friends and all their beloved staff and peers that they work closely with that are grieving this week and beyond. One of the great things about this district that I've seen in the last few days is how we come together in times of crises. This is one of those times, and people are supporting one another immensely. We need to keep supporting each other and understand that these are tough times, but especially for the families of Carolyn and Barry. So just as superintendent, I want to acknowledge the loss of these two incredible people, and please hold them and their families in your thoughts. In March, we will continue a discussion. We're going to have some more special guests on, and we're going to start more of a specific discussion on the budget. And then April's town hall will be specifically focused on a budget workshop, because as you know, hopefully this year, we're pretty certain that the budget will go back to a normal time frame in May. We're not sure exactly what that's going to look like, but we believe the May date will be used. So we're going to spend some time on pertinent topics in March, including reopening progress and other aspects of that, but also spend some time on the budget in March. And then April will be a full budget hearing for folks to chime in with questions on. As always, let me know if you have any questions. We're going to answer your questions on Facebook over the next couple days. Email me or call my office if you have any questions or comments. And just want to thank you for persevering and continuing the wonderful aspect of Victor Central School District. You saw the reward earlier tonight with those youngsters that were on with me, and they're just the tip of the iceberg of the students that we have in this district. So thank you so much for listening tonight. Have a great Wednesday evening, and take care.